Hi there, I'm Debbie. I'm a consulting astrologer and I work with the whole sign house system and the tropical Western Zodiac. This is part two. I don't know if you've seen part one, but I'm doing a full moon in Virgo video for this Saturday, the 24th of February. And I had given my interpretation, shown some images, showed the chart, and started interpretations for Aries through to Virgo. I thought I'd paused it and I was about to continue, but somehow the recording ended. So thanks for persisting with me if you are watching part two, and welcome if you are just tuning into part two, which will cover the interpretations for Libra through to Pisces. So today I'm talking about the full moon in Virgo, which is when the sun and the moon are in a complete opposition. So I always like to start with an image. So just bear with me while I put up some imagery for Virgo and what Virgo represents in the solar system, in the zodiac, and how that affects us, because we all have Virgo somewhere in our birth chart. And just to say, welcome if you're new to my channel. I really invite you to press the like and particularly the subscribe button, which supports my channel to grow. And you can put comments below if anything resonates with you. And welcome back to friends that already subscribe to my channel. And thank you for tuning in again. This is a passion of mine, astrology. I'm relatively newly qualified a couple of years ago, having studied 3 courses with Adam Ellenbass with Nightlight Astrology. Previously, I studied astrology decades back without the use of computers, and I used to cast charts by hand using pen and paper, no computers, and I used to give the charts away for gifts for friends and family when babies were born, etc. But I never really learnt about interpretation till maybe I don't know, 2020, when I did a course with a friend, Fiona Morris, who was doing a short Zoom course during lockdown. So that re-stoked all my interest in astrology. And since then, I've been trying to carve out a career, which I hope to do over the next wee while, as I go into my mature years as a MAGA woman in my second spring of life. So that's just a little introduction to me. So I used to use modern astrology. Now I've studied ancient astrology, and I blend the two using Hellenistic techniques, timing techniques, and I acknowledge the ancient rulers of the zodiac. But when I do birth chart readings, I also put in the modern planets as well to see if they have a significance and feel in your chart, which I feel they do, especially if they're in conjunction to personal planets. So let's have a look at this beautiful image. This is the image of Virgo. So what can we say about Virgo? Well, she's the maiden who brings in the harvests, and she's very discerning. She discards the chaff and just keeps the wheat. She is a yin, as in receptive, feminine sign of the zodiac. All water signs and earth signs, so zodiac sign, Virgo, earth, mutable, opposite Pisces. This is what we've going on, mutable water at this full moon, when the moon is opposite the sun in Pisces. But back to Virgo, she's feminine, yin, mutable, as in adaptable, changeable, flexible, moving energy. And she's an earth sign, which I love by this image here, connected to the earth, connected to the seasons, connected to the physical body. And Virgoans tend to have an awareness of what I was saying was the high qualities, what's good, high standards, and she discards what's not necessary. She therefore can aim to be have the best and have very high standards, and sometimes the shadow side of Virgo energy can be critical or hyper perfectionist, but to do with purifying natural things, nature, holistic health, well-being, all of these things are related to Virgo. And this is just the image of the Virgo glyph, which looks a bit like an M with a little swoopy, swirly bit on the end, not to be confused with the Scorpio glyph, which is like an M with a Scorpio stingy arrow, which is a very different feel to Virgo. Virgos love to be of service and be productive and have a role to play in life. So this Virgo moon will be accentuating some of those traits depending on where the Virgo house and the Pisces house is in your chart, which is what I'm going to be focusing on. And also, if you have any planets around maybe 3 degrees to 8 degrees of the mutable signs, then you may feel this energy of this full moon at 5 degrees in Virgo more significant for you, because it will be in conjunction to your personal planets or square or opposition. And the squares and oppositions are energies of transits that we feel more strongly. The trines and sextiles are more flowing aspects that, just pass us by, but don't necessarily bring up triggers in our life, which we have to really work through. Here's another lovely image of embracing this lovely full moon energy in Virgo, connecting us to our bodies, to the earth, to the seasonal changes. And my last video, I was talking about lunar Imbolc. So we passed the cross-quarter day of halfway between winter solstice and spring equinox. And now we're edging towards spring equinox. We've tipped over into the returning of the light, where there will be equal day and light, but we're still I'm noticing the light waking me up in the mornings now. So more energy, longer days. But the reflection of the sunlight onto the moon at full moon is what we always experience. And here is an image of Pisces, the fish. So the opposition of Virgo, earth, mutable earth, feminine mutable earth, is opposite feminine mutable water. That's the Pisces. And the symbol, the glyphs, are the sign of the two fishes swimming in opposite directions. So Virgo is very earthy and practical, meticulous, productive, busy. Pisces, being a water sign, has the energy and influences of sensitivity, compassion, intuitive nature. And when we think about the flowing fishes, like a shoal of fish going through the ocean, getting drawn along by the collective, and the ocean being vast, it's like Pisces energy pick up on all the undercurrents of everything. And it's much more flowing and a more sort of, like if we bring in the Neptune modern ruler of Pisces, it's more nebulous, it's more otherworldly, more fluid, more abstract, less, you can't really grab hold of the details with the Pisces, but there is that wonderful warmth, love, and compassion that all Pisces natures have. So what have we got here? This is the chart of the full moon on the 24th of February 2024. It's set for my time zone here in the UK. I'm in Scotland, and it's 12:32 universal time. So you would have to change that for where you are in the world. And I'll just bring up the arrow here to show what's going on in the heavens at the time of this full moon. So as I was saying, the moon is here's the signs of the zodiac around the outside of the wheel, just to refresh you, or if you're new to astrology and you're interested in learning, I really enjoy teaching what I know. The signs of the zodiac go around the outside of the wheel where candles would be, and starting here, that's where your ascendant would be on the 9 o'clock position. That shows Cancerian ascendant. So this would be accurate for an interpretation for the full moon in Cancer, which would be the sun and the stellium of planets up here in Pisces in the 9th house, opposite the moon in Virgo in your 3rd house. So here's the moon, and here's the opposition to the sun. 5 degrees, 23 minutes Virgo, opposite the sun at 5 degrees, 23 minutes Pisces. And whenever there is more than, or 3 or more planets in one sign, it's called a stellium. So it's like a real focal point of energy in the heavens that's going on in this Pisces area of our chart of the life that we have. And, depending on your ascendant, that Pisces house and the Virgo house are going to be what's prominent at this full moon, this opposition between these two energies. And the moon in Virgo is ruled by Mercury, who also rules Gemini, but Gemini is an air sign and Virgo is an earth sign. So here we have Mercury opposite to the moon. When Mercury is away from the sign or the house that he or she rules, because Mercury can be masculine or feminine depending on the sign. And so it's quite feminine placement because it's a water sign. Mercury is known to be in exile, far away from home of Virgo, which he rules, which is his domicile, her domicile. And she's in Pisces here, which is known to be in detriment. These old-fashioned words make things sound quite negative, but it's just a different way for Mercury, the planet of communication, how Mercury can work and affect us all. So Mercury isn't able to be productive, organized, analytical, meticulous. Mercury is more fluid. Mercury is more abstract. Mercury is more intuitive. So all the ways that we can think and communicate and travel and share ideas or mercantile projects are affected by this very creative type of energy. But also Mercury is under the beams of the sun. So when a planet is within 8 degrees of the sun, it's like the sun is such a bright, radiant presence in the heavens. It masks out the visibility of any planets that are under the beams of the sun, and Mercury is under the beams of the sun. So it may affect some communications at this time of the full moon on the 24th of February. We also have Saturn here in Pisces at the new degrees that he has never been at since he moved in last March, because he got as far as 7 degrees where the midheaven is showing. So we can ignore the midheaven, which changes every couple of years. Not couple of years, couple of hours, sorry, like the ascendant changes. So Saturn is also in Pisces and will remain in Pisces till 2026, spends about 2.5 years in a sign. And Neptune is also in Pisces, the modern day ruler of Pisces, adding in some creative, imaginative energies. So we have all of these energies going on at the time of this full moon. And what I'd like to do next is bring up a live chart and then continue my interpretations from Libra through to Pisces. So again, if you're new to my channel and you'd like to subscribe, so it doesn't cost you anything, maybe hit the notification bell, you'll know when I release a new video, which at the moment is only a couple every month, like new moons, full moons. I have a very busy family life, but I would like to develop this as my full-time career in the future. So you may be part and parcel of that if you contact me for a reading or subscribe to my channel. And I'd like to learn how to put that thing on your YouTube channel where you can buy me a cup of coffee. So you might not want to stretch to having a full reading and paying the cost of that, but buying a cup of coffee might be something that I can add to my channel for the future if you like my sharings. So thank you for that. So welcome Libra ascendants, if you know your time of birth, but if not, for the sun and moon in Libra. This full moon is happening in your 12th house of Virgo, as we can see at the top of the arrow there. And also there's an opposition from the stellium of planets in the 6th house of Pisces. So in ancient times, these houses were called the malefic houses because the 12th house where the moon is known as Saturn's joy, the most hidden part of the zodiac in a natal chart, because we start at the 9 o'clock position here where Libra is. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the arrow again, not the circle. So here is the 1 o'clock position, not the 1 o'clock, the 9 o'clock position of the first house, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So those are all under the horizon. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. This is the most distant place where the moon is in Saturn's joy, an isolated, hidden place of retreat, secret, private area of your life related to your subconscious, your hidden self. It can be the house of compassion for others, but it also can be the house known as self-undoing. And because Mercury rules Virgo here, and Virgo sometimes can get caught up in the minutiae of details. It may be that you are having some worries or anxieties coming to the fore, or projects that you may have planted seeds for maybe 6 months before, on the 15th of September 2023, when there was a new moon in Virgo. That's when these projects may be coming to full light for you in your life, but you may be processing them on a private level, hidden away from the public eye. And also, if you work with the shorter cycles of planting seeds of intention at the new moon, there was a new moon in Aquarius on Friday, the 9th of February. Have a look back at my video if you're interested in that. That was a lunar Imbolc video. That seemed to be well received, and it had the best amount of viewers and new subscribers. So it's exciting for me when it's well received like that. But at the same time, It raises the bar and puts me under pressure to achieve something as successful. But I've got to forget about that, because actually this video has already had a bit of a spanner in the works. But I might like to blame Mercury in Pisces here for confusion and creative ways of doing things. So I've broken my YouTube video for the full moon into 2 parts today, and maybe that's okay too. But yeah, just to say, going back, I've digressed. Some of the hidden things that you may have planted seeds for around the 9th of February may be coming to fruition. And what we've got going on with the opposition to your 6th house, which is known as Mars's Joy, Libras. Mars's Joy is the house, the 6th house, which is related to your daily work, service, routines, rituals. It's your health as well. It's your well-being. It can be the house of illness, but it's your general house of health and your work colleagues. It's also to do with pets, smaller than a goat. I was joking in the last video in ancient astrology, animals that are smaller than a goat belong in the 6th house. So and also, larger than a goat, maybe like horses and things are the 12th house animals. But anyway, we've got the opposition here. So when there's an opposition, it's to do with balancing the opposing energies. So your Sun in Pisces, dreamy, everyday life, routines, service and compassion, self-sacrifice. All of these things are going on with a Mercury in exile, maybe adding a little bit of less clarity around your plans and what you can actually do, or there's lots of changes and motion. But at the same time, you've got Saturn in Pisces here, also encouraging you to set boundaries, create healthy routines that are going to improve your everyday life. And also you've got Neptune also in Pisces here, which is bringing in creative ideas and imagination, fantasies as well. So all of this is to balance up. There's definitely energies going on in this everyday life, work, service, affecting your physical health as well, but processing it in private. So acknowledging your inner workings of your deep psyche, noticing your dreams, acknowledging that you can't be in control of everything. You can't go into all these minute details because it just will compact and make you feel out of control. So also Jupiter is offering support by a sextile. Maybe I'll leave the lines of those circles in. So when there's a sextile energy, Jupiter is sextiling this stellium of planets, particularly Saturn and the Sun. So the sextile is a harmonious aspect which brings some ease from the house of other people's support, karmic debt. People that hold you in high esteem are wanting to give you support to your everyday life here. And Uranus can bring a bit of a curved ball, so there may be some unexpected benefits that come to you, money from others. It can be your partner if you're in a relationship, because it's the 2nd house from the 7th house. So it can be money from others. It can be from other people that hold you in high self-esteem, hold you in high esteem, not self-esteem, because that would be your 2nd house. This is the opposite 8th house. And it may be money that comes in from unexpected sources with Uranus here as well, which can be through inheritances, grants, rewards that aren't really particularly related to your day-to-day wages. So something that comes in there, it could be the topics of mortgages, shared things that you do with a partner. And Jupiter is blessing this house from last May 2023 to the 25th of May 2024, because Jupiter spends about 1 year in each of the signs of the zodiac, taking 12 years roughly to go around the whole zodiac. So make the most of that period of time there. And anything else I've got to say? Yeah, just make the most of that support from Jupiter at Libras, and I hope that's helpful for you for the future. Put any comments below if anything resonates with you, and I appreciate that. So moving on to the next sign, which will be Scorpio. Hi there, Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon, if you don't know your time of birth. Remember to check in my comments below because there is a tutorial on how to cast your own chart using whole sign house system and the free program astro.com. So if you do have a time of birth, but you don't know your ascendant, then I welcome you to use that free tutorial video. And also remember to press the subscribe button, like and share, make any comments below. So back to you, Scorpio ascendant. As you can see, the moon is happening in Virgo. This full moon is in your 11th house, which was known in ancient times as the house of Jupiter's joy. And Jupiter is the largest planet of the solar system. So the benefic planet, the greater benefic planet. It's also, this area of life is related to your hopes and your wishes and your dreams that you want to fulfill and bring out to share with the wider world. It's also the second house from your 10th house. So it can be about things that are related to your career and benefits and finances that might be coming from that area of your life as well, which, coming out to the fore. And also we have the stellium of planets, the opposition to the sun at 5 degrees Pisces, and also the stellium of planets, including, there's that circle again. Let me get the arrow. Thank you for bearing with me. Including Mercury combust with the sun under the beams within 3 degrees. Mercury in exile away from the moon in Virgo, the house that Mercury rules. So in detriment or exile, Mercury, the planet of communication, in the 5th house, let's just say the 5th house, first of all, is Venus's joy, the lesser benefic planet. Venus, a goddess of love, beauty, pleasures, fun, romance, sex, children. So all of this energy, this focused energy of Pisces is happening in Venus's joy, but there may be some confusing, unclear, abstract ideas around your communications related to this area of your life. This area can also be related to entrepreneurial projects. If you're a creative person and you've got ideas, you've got both Mercury in Pisces. Mercury rules this full moon because Mercury rules Virgo, and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So there could be inspiration, real high imagination. You're allowing ideas to come in from other realms that may inspire you on a creative level, or you may be highly romantic around this time because this sun in Pisces always happens around this time of year for you, Scorpio ascendants. And also you've got very grounding, responsible Saturn here in Pisces, which is in this area of your life. Perhaps because Saturn is the old man of the Zodiac, the most distant planet seen with the naked eye by the ancient ones without a telescope. There can be a sense of restriction, boundary, lack. What's missing in this area of your romantic life or fun? Saturn can be highlighting these things for you. And also Saturn is at a new degree because Saturn only got as far as 7 degrees and then moved retrograde right back to 0 degrees, but now has moved into new territory. So there's a whole mix of different energies going on here. And however, Jupiter, the ruler of Pisces, the ancient ruler of Pisces, is sending blessings through the trine aspect from your 7th house of relationships to your 5th house of pleasures and fun, and also is co-present with Uranus. In the house of personal relationships, there could be some opportunities for romance if you're looking for that, if you're a single Scorpio, or an unhappy partnered Scorpio. I shouldn't say that. But there's definitely opportunities, but unexpected things happening in your 7th house of relationships with this lovely sextile, wild sextile aspect from the 7th house of relationships to your house of pleasures, creativity, entrepreneurship, fun, romance, that sort of expansive energy there from Jupiter. And also Jupiter is trining the moon in your 11th house of your hopes and wishes from the house of personal relationships. And also, if it's not a romantic relationship, Jupiter in this house could represent your audience. If you serve people in a workplace, they could be business partners or they could be your audience. So it's like they are offering you a trine back to your hopes and wishes, to the benefits and rewards that you reap from your career here. So that's a very positive aspect for you. So I hope that's helpful for you, Scorpio ascendants, and thanks for listening. So I'll be moving on to the next sign of the zodiac, which of course is Sagittarius. Hi there, Sagittarius ascendants, sun or moons, if you don't know your time of birth. So this full moon in Virgo is happening in one of the angles of the charts. I was speaking earlier in my previous video about houses 1 and 7 being opposite, the self, opposite partnerships, and 4, which is home and hearth and family and roots and ancestry, the base of the chart, opposite 10, that the praxis, the house that's most visible in the public eye. So that's where the moon in Virgo is apparent at this time of this full moon in Virgo on the 24th of February 2024, right in the house that's publicly visible. So it's bringing to fore this challenge between home and family, which are represented by the sun at 5 degrees Pisces in opposition to the moon at 5 degrees Taurus, Virgo. And also, all these other planets that are also in the home house, they're all in an opposition to the moon in Virgo. So moon in Virgo up here in the house of your social status, your occupation, what you're seen to do in the public world. If you're not working, it could be charitable work. If you help out with your grandchildren, or you're a parent and you're always looking after children, that is your social status, what you're seen to do publicly. So it's very much about that public sphere of your life. And also Virgo is about being of service to others and having a purpose. So that's really important. That's what's come into light at this time. If you work with the seeds of the new moon and intentions within 2 weekly cycles of the lunar cycle, new and full moon, there was a new moon in Aquarius on Friday, the 9th of February. Have a look back at my video if you're interested in that, because it talks about the lunar imulk and other planetary placings. But if you planted seeds of something new then, just a couple of weeks ago, this could be some sort of sign of what you're starting to reap in this outside area of your life, the visible area of praxis and action. However, if you go back further to the 15th of September, that was when there was a new moon in Virgo. And some 6 months later, that's when this culmination of those projects that were beginning around that time may be coming to the sense of completion or visibility or culmination point in full light of the full moon. So Mercury is adding slight confusion here, because Mercury is in exile away from Virgo that she rules. I'm going to say she because she's in a feminine sign, a yin sign, a water sign of the zodiac. She is combust under the beams of the sun by 3 degrees, being masked out. So Mercury, the planet of communication, interactions, talking, writing, communicating, is having problems perhaps, or not being able to be as clear in thinking or interacting with others related to topics of family, ancestry, home, things like that. So Mercury is bringing these things to light, and maybe that's affecting your public sphere of life, or maybe that's affecting how you're seen in the public eye. We also have the sun, obviously, and then we also have Saturn here at a new degree in Pisces at 9 degrees in opposition to the moon, and in a wide conjunction to the sun. So Saturn in Pisces can bring about a sense of burden, restriction, wisdom through mastery. Like if you're an older person, like I don't see myself as old, but I know I'm older and I'm approaching my second Saturn return. So for some people, because I have Saturn in my house of Pisces, and Saturn takes about 28 to 29 years to circle back round into the heavens. So in about a year or so, I will be approaching my second Saturn return. But I can tell you, I'm feeling Saturn in my house of home and family, and how that's impacting on my sense of how can I structure my life to deal with the added responsibilities and use my wisdom and support and eldership, being an elder within this home environment. So Saturn in Pisces encourages sometimes saying no, like saying, this is my boundary, because Saturn represents the boundary of the solar system that the ancient ones could see with the naked eye before modern day planets were discovered, beginning with Uranus in 1781, when William Herschel developed the telescope. So Saturn can be the one that says no, or has to learn to say no, because in Pisces, it's like compassionate. It's feeling everybody's is aware of the collective. And it can be very draining if you filter away your energy, Sagittarians, by not recognizing your limits. So Saturn in Pisces is recognizing your limits, setting positive structures, routines in place that you can work around. And also you've got the beautiful Neptune energies there that can add inspiration, enjoyment, pleasures through other realms, creativity, imagination, artistry, anything like that that you can bring into the home environment. But everything's coming to this full moon head here at this full moon. When I say the head is in the public sphere of your life. Hope I'm not rambling too much. I had to have a wee extra decaf coffee to get through the second part of this recording, so I may be speaking faster. I call it a homeopathic dose, but I'm definitely feeling it. Anyway, let's go to where Jupiter is. So Jupiter has been in this house of Taurus for you, and this is your everyday life related to your well-being, health, duties, work. Can be the house of illness. So sometimes things may be coming up in this area of life, but there's an opportunity with a sextile, wide sextile to your home life from your daily work, that you can change or expand or develop things that are going to bring some sense of ease to any restrictions or challenges, burdens and responsibilities here, Sagittarians. And also there's a nice trine, which is a fluid, supportive, beneficial energy. Again, bringing you opportunities that you can expand something to do with your career or your social status. Maybe it's a change of career. Maybe you're adding on another skill to your career, a bit like myself. But, you know, with Uranus here, expect the unexpected, go with the flow, and just enjoy the ride. So I hope that's helpful for you, Sagittarius. And next, I'll be moving on to Capricorn. Hey there, Capricorns, ascendant if you know your time of birth, sun or moon if not. So you can listen in for these different things as well. Welcome to this short reading of the full moon in Virgo on the 24th of February. And we can see that the moon is in your 9th house of Virgo up here. This is called the house of God. It's a very solar house. It's the joy of the sun, as in the masculine dynamic. So that's where the moon is being visible in the heavens, and it's opposite the house of, let me get this right. It's the joy of the moon down here in the 3rd house, which is quite a busy area of your everyday life in your local neighborhood. It's what you do around your home, but not in your home, like when you go on journeys around and about, if you're shopping, if you're communicating with your neighbors, siblings, distant relatives, people like that. It's also the house of communications and technologies, learning and teaching. So it's a very busy house. It's a very active house, and it is the house of friendships, the house of the goddess in ancient times. So the feminine aspect, likely to relate to more feminine influences, friends that are maybe female or feminine type energies within he, she, they, people in your friendship groups, in your local environment and neighborhood. So what can we say then with the full moon? Any projects that you may have set with an intention at the new moon around the 9th of February, the new moon in Aquarius, may be starting to show. in this short period of time if you really work with the moon and plan things well. However, going back to the 15th of September, where there was a new moon in Virgo last year, this is the 6th monthly period of the culmination point. Maybe you're able to see and reap what you've sown coming to fruition, a sense of completion or illumination coming to the end of this period. And it's visible in your 9th house. So the 9th house of God is really related to, it's called the house of the higher mind. So it can be related to maybe projects that you have been undertaking by studying something. It could be spiritual or religious paths involving pilgrimage to widen your mind and understanding of your place in the world. It could be people that offer you something in a sense of service, with the Virgo energies up there, in a supportive way of being in service to you that you respect and learn from and, grow as well. It's the wider mind, it's the higher mind, it's not the everyday mind, it's like larger issues. And it's also related to topics related to overseas, foreign shores, places like that. So Mercury is under the beams in the 3rd house. So there could be maybe communication. Well, I was going to say blackouts, but I don't really want to say blackouts. It's something to do with Mercury being far from the home that she rules, in exile, in detriment, in Pisces. So communications may not be as full of clarity that you would like, because Pisces energy is very fluid and a bit more abstract. It's definitely not planning and organized like the Virgo nature of the moon. So there can be some confusion or miscommunications with communications within your local environment, maybe related to siblings or family members like aunts and uncles or friends. And you also have your dynamic sun at this time of year in this 3rd house. It's a busy house of travel, communications, toing and froing. And you also have Saturn here in this house of Pisces. He's been here since last March, and he'll be here till 2026. And he is encouraging you to use your skills and maybe take on a bit more responsibility in your everyday life. So maybe that might mean, if you're younger and you haven't learned to drive, or if you're older and you haven't learned to drive, taking on responsibility to overcome restrictions or slowness or limitations in your daily life. There's a sense of, using skills, planning ahead more for the long term. And then you also have the creative energies of Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, that can bring in other ideas, imagination and inspiration to this area of life. So what topics are coming to the fore from this area of your everyday life up into this public sort of wider mind? What's coming up for you, Capricorn ascendants? And let's have a little look at where Jupiter is lending some blessings. So Jupiter is in your 5th house of Venus's joy, here lending the sextile aspect from this 5th house of Taurus, where Jupiter's been since last March and will be until the 25th of March, because Jupiter spends about 1 year in each sign of the zodiac, giving you opportunities for expansion, growth, travel. So yeah, Jupiter loves to travel, and this is a travel house. So maybe there's some pleasures from travel that can help expand your mind, or find romance, or go with a partner, enjoy sports, or any creative pleasures. So this is flowing to you by a sextile aspect. Make the most of Jupiter in this house to the 25th of March this year. Uranus is also there, maybe adding a wee curved ball. The unexpected here in this house might be to do with unexpected romance or pregnancy at some point for some of you, Capricorns. And also Jupiter is making a trine aspect to the moon up here in your 9th house. So there's a sense of flow coming from Jupiter, offering some sense of growth, expansion, or opportunities. It could be overseas travel as well, because Jupiter loves to travel far and wide, and the moon is in this 9th house. I've heard some other astrologers talking about how this full moon may not come to fruition at this point, but maybe in the weeks to follow. So just see what resonates with you. If you keep a journal, then that might actually help you there. So I hope that's helpful for you, Capricorn Ascendants, and thanks for listening. Remember to press the subscribe button, like or share our notification bell if you're able to. I give great thanks for that. Hi there, Aquarius Ascendants, if you know your time of birth, or Sun or Moon if you don't. This full moon in Virgo is happening in your 8th house of Virgo up here on the 24th of February. And it is in opposition to the Sun in Pisces, with the stellium of planets in your 2nd house of Pisces. So I hope I said that right. I'm getting to the end of the recording here, so bear with me. Yeah, so you have a very dynamic energy of opposition, which is the nature of Saturn. Saturn is the structure, the boundary, the limitation, and oppositions are of the nature of Saturn. So there's a sense of potential toing and froing, tugging of warring, or trying to find that mid-fulcrum point of this opposition. And all full moons have an opposition with the Sun and the Moon at the exact degree. So for instance, this one is 5 degrees Virgo, 23 minutes, with the Sun at 5 degrees Pisces, 23 minutes. But not all full moons create a stellium with other planets. So there's a very dynamic area of the Pisces in your chart in the 2nd house. The 2nd house is related to your personal resources, your own skills, your ability to create finances and security. And it's also about what you take into your body on a physical level and what you appreciate. The 8th house is about other people's resources, things that support you, that come in from other people. It can be money from your partner, which is the 7th house. So it's a second derived house from the 7th house if you're in a relationship. Or it may be unexpected money. So there's something here that's bringing up and highlighting your sense of self-worth, your skills, maybe some confusion around how you can use your skills or communicate what you can offer to the world that can help you in the future create your physical, grounded security. But Mercury is under the beams of the Sun, so not able to be seen to do what Mercury likes to do, which is to communicate, to travel, to interact with others. There's a sense of being masked out by the brilliance of the Sun in Pisces. And Mercury is also away from Virgo, the house that she rules. I'm calling her she because she's in a feminine sign, a yin sign of the Zodiac in Pisces. And she is known to be in detriment. So it's trickier for her to think and communicate or have clarity, but there is also the potential for more abstract and creative ways of thinking and doing things that may just evolve a different way of doing things and offering up your skills. So that is what's going on with Mercury. And obviously we've got the Sun here, and then we've got Saturn here. Saturn is encouraging you to develop and rely upon your own skills, because Saturn has been in this house of Pisces since last March, and Saturn will remain in this 2nd house of Pisces for you, Aquarius Ascendant, Sun or Moons, until the 2026. Saturn is about boundaries, limitations, responsibility, acknowledging what's missing. So it may be that you need to create some structures or cut back on spending, limit yourself a bit more, constrain yourself within a budget, or recognize what works for you. And if there's skills that are missing that you realize you don't have, it's time to, take on that maturity and think, okay, I can do that. I can study that. I can learn more with that. And then I'll be able to have those skills to offer out in the world, which will help long-term for your own security and what you can offer. And also Neptune is also in Pisces here, has been for ages, I think 2011, at the end degrees, 26 degrees Pisces. So offering you some inspiration and other ideas, some imagination, maybe some fantasies, some dreams that can come in that might help you in this area of your life. And these are all in opposition to Mercury, to the moon in Virgo up there. And also for you Aquarius folk, you've been under some real intense changes lately, because Pluto has recently been in your 12th house and has now moved into your first house of Aquarius, really bringing up this sense of digging deep into your shadow side to find your own power and strength and how you show up in the world. And Pluto will be here for the next 20 years, give the last retrograde when he goes back into your 12th house where he's been for the last 15 years, processing things, working on deeper levels of yourself, the hidden, taboo, secret areas of yourself, working through painful stuff perhaps. So now you're able to show up in the world using your knowledge, using some power, finding your way. And this will only get stronger as Pluto slowly moves through this house here. So that's quite a dynamic thing that's just happened for you Aquarians. And just talking about the beneficial areas of the chart here with Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system. Jupiter in your 4th house of home and family, roots and property in land, is in a sextile aspect to the sun here in your 2nd house. So maybe offering you some benefits here from this area of your life. Maybe there's support from your family, or something from your family to support you in developing your own skills. And there's also a trine up to the moon in the house of other people's money. So a trine aspect is flowing and supportive, the nature of Jupiter. Perhaps there's some sense of inheritances coming in, because the 8th house is the house of other people's money. It can also highlight fears and anxieties, the 8th house. It's a mystical house. It's a house that's related to the occult and, you know, the idea of death and endings and all of these things. So, you know, with the moon in Virgo up here, it might be that for some of you Aquarians, you find this quite a worrying or an anxious time. Things are coming to a head for you around anxieties and around how you feel you are being judged or how you're viewed by others, because the 8th house where the moon in Virgo is in the esteem of others. And it's also about karmic debt. It's what you've done for people and what they've done for you, and how does that balance out. So I'm hoping that that information is helpful for you, so that you can work out and believe in yourself and use your skills and develop your skills for the time ahead. Aquarius ascendants. So thank you for listening. Moons and suns, if you don't know your ascendant. So I will next be moving to the last sign of the zodiac, which is Pisces. I might as well just move the wheel on here if I can, rather than pausing. Welcome, Pisces. Thank you for waiting. If you have waited, or have you just scrolled along to the timestamp, which is what I would do. But sometimes if you've got friends or family, I listen in for other people's signs as well, because I'm interested in people generally. So let's have a look at this full moon. This is a very dynamic full moon for you, isn't it, Pisces? Because it's in one of the angles of the chart. The moon is in the 7th house of personal relationships in Virgo, which is a very dynamic angle of the chart. It's one of the angles, the kentrons, the pivot points. So whenever you have planets in these areas of your chart, it really activates very personal energies related to very personal areas, like personal relationships. You can't get much personal than that, apart from yourself, which is your relationship to yourself, which you have to live with and learn with and experience life through. And this is the 1st house of Pisces in opposition to the moon, which is coming to fruition. So this may be highlighting any projects that you started off last year, the 15th of September last year, when there was a new moon in Virgo. And these 6 months later, the seeds that you planted, ideas or projects, may now be coming up to this fruition point, a culmination point, or something that's more visible for you. And this might be related to your personal relationships. If there were new ways that you were, if you started a new relationship, for example, it might be showing you how this relationship is developing in this full moon in Virgo. If you started a project, it might be that sense of how is this, what have you reaped from what you've sown? Also, it could be related to your audience. If you work and are in service to other people, the seventh house can be those that receive you and that you serve. And certainly Virgo is a sign of the zodiac that likes to be of service to others. So bringing up what you offer to others, perhaps in this shared house of personal relationships. And then we have the all the planets in opposition in this first house. This first house is called Mercury's joy, the helm of the ship, the first house in whole sign house system. The first house always starts here, wherever your ascendant is. It starts on the zero cusp, and all the planets are therefore in your first house if they're in the same sign as your ascendant. Mercury is in Mercury's joy, but as I've mentioned in previous interpretations, Mercury is far from home from the house that Mercury rules. She's in exile, far from Virgo, in the opposite sign, also known in ancient astrology as in detriment, which is a negative. It sounds very negative. So what it means is Mercury, the planet of communication, cannot communicate as clearly and meticulously as Virgo is able to, with the details and really structured and practical, because Mercury is in Pisces. It's a fluid sign of the fish. It's like, let's just do this and let's just go there and let's just imagine this. So it's much more abstract. So the way that you can show up in the world around this full moon is more ethereal, I suppose, in a way, like the Neptune energy, the modern ruler of Pisces, although in ancient times, Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces for many thousands of years. So it's only since the development of Neptune around the 1800s that Neptune was given to be the ruler of Pisces. But nevertheless, Neptune has been in your first house, Pisces, since around 2011. And that adds imagination, creativity, inspiration, dreams, following your poetic license, your artistic ways of doing things, being open to be guided by something that's maybe off the earthly plane. So you've got all of these different energies going on. And at the same time, you've got Saturn in Pisces here, which is very grounding just as well, really. Because otherwise we could all just float away in the sort of the collective consciousness of the oceans with too much fluid energy that's too ethereal. So Saturn is about recognizing your boundaries, and it might be bringing a reality check into your life. It can be quite sobering, and sometimes that can maybe make you feel less positive, a bit more serious, or maybe lacking in confidence. But Saturn encourages us to develop our mastery and our strengths and our wisdom, and encourages setting boundaries, structures, containing all the fluidity of the water. So there's something about learning about what you can do in life, what responsibilities you can take on, how you can show your maturity, step into your wisdom as you grow older, and use all the other inspirations, and how this may be affecting your personal relationships in life, both romantic and business. And at the same time as all of that opposition, we've got Jupiter, the ruler of Pisces. Your ruler is in the third house of the goddess, the joy of the moon. So it's a house of friendships, actually. And it's also the house of your local environment, your neighborhood. It's to do with teaching, communicating, technologies. There's benefits here, sextiling your first house, helping you develop these strengths and your power and your wisdom in how you show up in the world from the house of neighbors or siblings or distant family like aunts and uncles, or just basically your friends. This was the house of friendships in ancient times, the third house of the moon, joy of the moon. So Jupiter is offering a sextile aspect here. Jupiter will remain here until the 25th of May this year, because Jupiter spends 1 year in each sign of the zodiac. So there's a sextile aspect from this house of the moon, your local environment, friendship groups, teaching, journeys, communications. So that may help you expand and find your self-belief. And there's also a trine here, which is 120 degrees to your house of personal relationships. So Jupiter is giving you the opportunity to enhance and grow and expand and have some sort of good fortune potentially coming from your local environment here and expanding your audience if you're working and serving others, or something to do with expanding your relationships, your personal relationships, giving a positive, optimistic slant on that Pisces ascendant. So I think that might be all that I have for you. You know, basically you have got Uranus in that third house there alongside co-present with Jupiter. So Uranus also throws in the curved ball that we're not expecting. So expect the unexpected in your daily life and just go with the flow there. So I think that's the end of my video here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it fruitful. Again, if you have planets around 3 to 8 degrees of the mutable signs, this full moon may be activating a lot more in your chart with the sun and the moon either conjunct, square, or opposite. So those are the aspects that we tend to feel most strongly. And if you have a personal reading, then you have your whole chart mapped out, and then you can see how all of the transits in the heavens, including eclipses and all the moving planets, affect your chart and activate different areas of your life. So check in my comments below if you'd like to contact me for a reading. Have a look at the free tutorial on how to cast your own chart using free data on astro.com. And I'd like to send blessings this full moon in Virgo, that we can all use our unique gifts to offer others in a sense of sharing and support and appreciation, especially now that Pluto is now in Aquarius. So it's a time to share with others. And we've all got unique gifts and a sense of purpose as we walk our paths in this life. So thanks again for listening, and sending you blessings for this full moon in Virgo. Bye for now.